Around noon, Custer makes what many believe is his fatal mistake. He divides his forces into 3 separate columns. Most crushing defeats in American history. Custer's last stand. June 25th, 1876. Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer and over 600 troopers of the 7th United States Cavalry arrive in the Little Bighorn Valley of southern Montana. The cavalry has come to subdue a village of defiant Indians. Thousands of Sioux and Cheyenne under the leadership of the great holy man, Sitting Bull. For a century, the United States has pushed the frontier west, herding tribe after tribe onto agencies or reservations. The Sioux and the Cheyenne don't want to give up their land on the northern plains. These last defiant Indians gather into a colossal wandering village. In the spring of 1876, the village arrives on the plains of Montana.
The village was always on the move. They knew the Army was out after them. And to the United States Army, to capture a fleeing village was an impossible task.
Custer follows Sitting Bull's path west across the Wolf Mountains. On the other side, the Indian village stands on the banks of a slender river. The Indians call it the Greasy Grass. The Army calls it the Little Bighorn. On the morning of June...
Lieutenant Colonel Custer is dead. It's a disaster, but what comes next is something far more frightening. After all the horrors they've suffered at the hands of the Americans. Far more frightening. After all the horrors they've suffered at the hands of the Americans. Sitting Bull's people want more than victory. They want humiliation. Custer's history of brutality against them would be repaid in full. Some details were so shocking they had to be hidden from the American public. Bodies defiled, men mutilated beyond recognition, and Custer himself brutalized so badly that the Army had to lie to his widow. This is the untold truth about what happened. For the victorious Lakota and Cheyenne, it was natural that they would start off by looting their fallen enemies. The American soldiers had all sorts of valuable things that now rightfully belonged to the victors, and would have done the exact same thing to them if the battle had gone the other way. Weapons, jewelry, clothes, badges, even horses left on the field were now theirs for the taking. Lakota warrior Brave Bear was there. Quote, "There was lots of fussing and quarreling over the horses and guns that were captured. Indians were saying to each other, 'I got some tobacco, I got coffee, I got a good gun.' For the warriors, the loot was their just reward. This looting process wasn't kind to the dead. Almost all of them were stripped of their clothes and left to rot naked in the sun. The Lakota and the Cheyenne traditionally took scalps from defeated enemies, and it was no different here. For hours after the battle, the hills were a terrifying sight of warriors carving off the scalps of dead men as war trophies. It wasn't just the men either. Native accounts vividly remember how the women of the camp came up and desecrated the bodies as well. 2 Cheyenne women claimed to have driven awls into Custer's ears. Years later, it was revealed that someone had forced an arrow up an unspeakable place in Custer's pants, a detail that the Army kept quiet to avoid upsetting his widow. According to the Lakota warrior Ironhawk, some of Custer's men played dead to avoid the men, only to be caught by these women. He remembered seeing 2 old women strip one body and begin to dismember him, only for the soldier to jump up and try to fight them off. The soldier was quickly killed, but Ironhawk thought the sight of a naked man trying to fight off 2 old women was amusing. One person who wasn't amused, allegedly, was Sitting Bull. According to him, his visions had foretold a great victory, but had warned him that if his warriors disturbed the dead, they would be cursed. Whether Sitting Bull truly opposed the mutilation is unclear, since interviews with him only happened years after his defeat. He may have just been distancing himself from actions that the public considered outrageous. But of course, the battle wasn't over with Custer's death. Most of the 7th Cavalry was still alive, under Major Marcus Reno and Captain Frederick Benteen, who had fortified themselves atop Reno Hill. Sitting Bull's warriors attacked them through the night of the 25th and all day on the 26th. They only broke off in the morning of the 27th when their scouts caught sight of approaching American reinforcements. Benteen and Reno had been too busy fighting for their lives to find out what happened to Custer. It was actually the reinforcements under General Alfred Terry and Colonel John Gibbon who first realized the scale of the disaster at Little Bighorn. Gibbon's scouts first came across the bloodied clothes of American officers in abandoned camps.
When most people think of slavery in early America, they imagine a simple and brutal picture. White plantation owners holding black men and women in bondage. But history is never that simple. In fact, one of the most surprising and unsettling truths is that some free black men in colonial America also became slave owners. This little-known chapter of history is both fascinating and deeply ironic, and it begins with the story of a man named Anthony Johnston.
He was the first black slave owner. He took the people to court and won. He the one made it slavery for life. Because once he won in the courtroom, Rising Water be tripping, man. Rising Waters, wait. Bad service they got. Rising Waters got bad service. My name is Lee. Hold on a second. Rising Waters be tripping. Hold on a second. Rising Waters be tripping, yeah. The whole laptop was. It's tripping like that.
Back in the day, there was this giant of a black.
God damn, I gotta get back on this. What's up with this thing? Come on, man. Pay too much money for this shit. Too much money, man. Too much money for this. Oh, let's get this going now. See this shit out there. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Zoom. What the fuck was this thing? Oh, yeah. Zooming too much. What's going on with this thing? I gotta check it out. This thing zooming too big. I gotta fix the zoom on the thing. The zoom. This is purple cabbage and zoom. I gotta fix the zoom on this phone. What the fuck? How the hell does zoom get like that? There's a chicken. Purple cabbage. Cornbread right here. I gotta adjust this phone. I gotta adjust this phone. Like goddamn zoom on this phone. Something. See something. See something. Oh man, hell no. What's wrong with this motherfucker? No, the zoom. What's the zoom shit? Zoom. What's going on? No. Something ain't right. Something ain't right with this phone. Hell no. I gotta go check the phone out. I gotta see what's wrong with this phone. Oh, yeah. I gotta see what's wrong with this phone here. I gotta cut this stuff up right here. Ah, this phone tripping. I gotta get the phone adjusted. God damn. Gotta get the phone adjusted. I gotta get my phone adjusted. I got a smoker. Oh shit, hell yeah. This phone. I gotta go, I can adjust this bad boy. Hell